Hello and welcome to Fanversation. I am Yael Tygiel and I'm so freaking stoked today to be talking to somebody very special. As you may know, I love everything on SYFY channel. And of course, a vampire show with a fat lead. You know I'm into it. We have Mandela van Peebles joining us from Reginald the Vampire. Hello, Mandela!
Hey, how you doing?
I'm so excited. You don't even understand how much I love this show.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm stoked too. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to shoot, and I'm having a great time watching it as well. I'm a fan.
Tell me, let's go back to the beginning. How did you hear about this show?
Just through the normal channels of auditioning, kind of. So, got an email with some sides and had to do a self-tape, and I'm like, well, this isn't, the usual kind of stuff you see as far as subject matter and relevancy and funny, and it just had it all there, just tucked away neatly in the dialogue. And I was like, this is kind of nice. And I asked my managers, I was like, hey, is there a script available? Maybe that will help me get some insight for the character when I audition, and so they sent me the pilot, and I was like, okay, wow, I'm really in this. Maurice is a big part of it. So yeah, from beginning, basically, from my first hearing of it, I was hooked. I was really excited to be even considered, and then obviously booking it, exponential excitement.
Did you, what scene was it that you got the sides for? Like, what was it that you were given?
So the self-tape scene was so the prayer scene, basically. Jacob outside.
Oh, wow.
Oh dear, baby Jesus. And I come up and I do my thing, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I was like, that was cool. So when we shot that, it was like, we could do this one. We were like, we didn't have to study that one too much. We're like, let's just keep it fresh. And then, but we're spending so much time together every day. Shows don't shoot chronologically. So by the time we shot that scene, we've been vibing for a while. So I love the growth from when we first did it to then, and even throughout the series, I feel like you really feel for those connections with the characters, because it's real. We really got to be a tight-knit friend group.
Yeah. Let's talk about Jacob for a second. Most people know him very specifically as Ned from the Spider-Man movies. This is a whole different side of him, and really a leading role for him. Tell me about working with him and seeing him really blossom.
Oh yeah, no, he's super talented, super funny, and when he wants to, he can really ground it, and just having that chemistry and the banter. We're boys, and he's just fun, man. He's like, he doesn't take himself too seriously, and oh wow, yeah, I would say Reginald and Ned are like different, but they ring true to kind of his personality. He's like a very charismatic and caring. Yeah, he's a caring guy. Yeah, he's fun, man. He's a really great time. And just actually, we were in Victoria. We were filming when Spider-Man came out. Why we thought we could just go to get some food like we normally did, and it was a swarm of people like at the restaurant. We were trying to get some like chicken enchiladas and shrimp enchiladas and stuff, and it was just not. It was crazy, but it was a lot of fun working with them throughout 6 months. Spending almost every day together. So
wow. I mean, Maurice spends a lot of time definitely with Reginald, being the person who turns him. Sire, is that?
Yeah. So I sire. Yeah.
Yes. Let's talk vampire rules, right? Because every show has their own vampire rules, right?
It does. We don't glisten or sparkle in the sun.
Thankfully.
Let's talk it. What's up? Yeah. How can I help?
Okay. So for those who are not familiar with Reginald the Vampire, we know that vampires can glamour people, but vampires can't glamour other vampires except for Reginald, which is a big old mystery.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, in our vampire lore, glamoring is kind of like, I kind of think of it as a Jedi mind trick that you can use on humans, basically, on your food. But it doesn't work on other vampires. And then Jacob comes along and just shatters that mold. And on top of being the fat vampire, he now can glamour too. And it's quite a problem for everybody in the vampire community.
So also, the vampires in this world, they have reflections in the mirror, correct?
Yeah.
And garlic does not affect them.
No, nothing about garlic, because we definitely had some etouffee in episode 4 when we do the Maurice flashback,
Right.
and that was very good actually. But yeah, garlic. I would say the things that mainly stood out to me is different was the glamoring, and everything else seems to be pretty straight and narrow, right? What do you think?
I mean, I think that the mirror thing is interesting. I
Yeah,
love the way the garlic thing is being played, where like they're like, it's food, we
yeah,
can eat it.
yeah,
There's the question of silver. I mean, I'm waiting to find out about all the other creatures
yeah,
that have to exist, right?
yeah. No, there's definitely lore that's going on the show, and even in episode 4 again, there's there's a moment where someone thinks they're gonna have me trapped in a
Right,
vampire trap, and it doesn't actually work because what you see in TV isn't real life.
right. Holy
Yeah,
water doesn't
yeah,
help. Crosses,
exactly.
whatever.
Who really knows?
Yeah. Did you read the books, the Fat Vampire books that this is based on?
I got to borrow Jacob's copy for a bit. Yeah, yeah. It's pretty good. And believe it or not, Johnny came out to the set a couple times, and we were hanging out. He actually came to Comic-Con with us too. So we kind of got the oral oration of the book as well,
Awesome.
and asked all the questions he wanted, and asked him, the differences between how the show is going and how it's played, and how the book had it, and what he, all his thoughts. He's a really cool guy, actually.
That's awesome. I really love how this show not only is turning vampires on their head, being like, here's other things that vampires are doing, and here are our rules and lore, but also the representation that this show has. It has, I mean, Jacob's the lead. We've got body representation right there, body diversity. We have lots of queer representation on this show. It's so beautiful to have all of that on one show.
Oh yeah.
Talk to me about that.
No, yeah, even that, like we said, when I got the audition, they had already cast Jacob, so it says in there, and I was like, no way, he's the lead. That's awesome. Like, these guys are doing some new stuff. And then for me to be number 2, Wild, and then Savannah, we had, and the Mike, we have so many different representations on the show. And not only that, if you think of it, it's very age diverse too, because I play a 90-year-old.
Right.
There's other aspects too. So
I mean, the only questions or the nitpicking that I would make is just that we have people, right? Your character's 90.
yeah.
You were sired by someone even older.
Yeah.
I'm confused about why, if you go back generations, the aesthetics of what a beautiful vampire might be are all modern aesthetics, which
that's a good point. Yeah,
it doesn't make sense because
yeah.
Back
The
in those
aesthetic
days it was a
changes.
different.
Yeah. That's a good point. What are you saying I should look like?
I'm just saying. I'm saying you look fine. I'm just saying the premise of Reginald being an abomination to them.
No,
When
I'm
you
gonna
get
bring that up to like Harley or something. We got to get a really, really old vampire from Egypt with like a bound like Tutankhamun head. That'd be so spooky.
right.
That'd be cool.
Well, let's talk about episode 4 because that one gave us a real beautiful backstory about Maurice and how we got Maurice to where we are now.
Yeah.
And this history with Angela. I really enjoyed learning all of this and seeing this background. Tell me how it was for you reading that and learning all that.
Oh yeah, no, it was great because as they're, in the kitchen trying to chef up these episodes, all these versions of the script, you're getting new information every time. And so when we had a couple meetings and dinners, me, Jeremiah, and Harley, and just, wanting to inform the choices that my character makes and kind of come up with a backstory. So I wanted to pick their brains and also kind of get a feel for Johnny's thoughts on Maurice and stuff like that. But Jeremiah and Harley looked at me and they're like, "Oh, wait till we give you the script for episode 4. Like a lot of these questions are going to be answered." And I had a blast reading it. I had a blast shooting it. It's so cool to have even the visual diversity as well, between like the period piece flashbacks to the modern day, and you have the same character there that was there as when he was a kid. It's just like I thought really well done, and it was fun, and yeah, I can't wait to do more of it. There's probably so many new stories to be told about kind of Maurice's origin and Angela and all that drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's look into that drama because Maurice and Angela were together. Then Maurice is nesting with Mike, and now he's single. What's happening? What's happening with these relationships?
I would say Maurice is pretty much focused on the revenge. I think that's his whole reason of being in Akron, because he kind of just shows up, and even Angela says, you show up out of nowhere, obviously it's going to be a problem. So I think at where we are in the season right now, Maurice's thing is revenge, and then Reggie comes into his world and kind of opens his heart a bit.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I should cool it with my shipping. I should.
Well, I don't know, because I have at least where we are now. I wouldn't say I'm too happy with Angela.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the lovers to enemies to lovers. That's where we're going, right?
Yeah, it's a Mr. and Mrs. Smith kind of situation, for
yes.
sure. And I think it's a timeless tale that, well, with the immortality thing, it's been going on for a while,
and we'll continue.
I do think there was a period of time where, because I even say, I saw you at this, rally, or there's points in where we cross paths, and it's been on my mind, that revenge thing. So yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm such a shipper. I ship so many people on this show with each other, even characters that I haven't met. I'm shipping them. But that's just how I watch TV.
Hey.
I want to know when you told your family, because you come from a actor family, come from a family in the industry. When you told your family about this show, what did they say? What were their thoughts? How did they like it?
Oh man. Well, yeah, they probably heard about it pretty soon after I did, as far as, hey, can you watch this audition I just did? Do you think it's good? Do you have any notes for me? So I like to get people's thoughts and opinions, and my job is really to evoke emotion from whoever the viewer is. So I like to get as many eyes on it as possible, and yeah, so they were pretty much involved with Reginald as soon as I was, and
oh, wow,
they thought it was awesome. Yeah.
Did they have any tips?
I remember my dad, when before we started filming, I was like, hey, you want to come up and visit and help me get set up? And he's kind enough to say, like, yeah. So he comes up and get a gym membership for me and kind of stock my fridge and have a couple meetings and stuff like that. And he comes out, because I let him have my room, so I'm on the couch. And he comes out to the living room and he's like, "Hey man, I know we're past this point in our relationship and I don't want to be a dad anymore, but you should probably get some sleep. Don't want to be tired." I'm like, "Well, it's a vampire show. We shoot nights." So I was like, I think I got and I ended up having the right mindset of getting in the night owl mode, because we shoot nights and it was cold and rainy, but a lot of fun. So, when you're laughing, it's kind of a little heater in your belly anyways.
That's really funny. And shooting nights sounds, that sounds, even I'm a night person, that still sounds miserable, especially because like you're not just shooting nights, but fake blood is sticky and it gets everywhere.
Oh yeah. No, the thing about it is, if I really, because I like to analyze things, I'm like, when I shoot at the end of the day or nights, I can't really relax during the day because I know I got work later. So if I were to do something fun, it's like, no, you should be prepping, or. So it's really just an all day work day when I think of it that way. But I gotta say, shooting nights is kind of fun because you just get more of that feeling of like, I have a crazy life. Like, my job is literally like, it's 6 a.m. and 100 people are here and we're like trying to light me. Like, this is pretty wild. Like, it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
These are the things that people who are not in the industry don't realize, that like it's hard work, but there's also weird moments where you're like, wow, my job is to stand here at night covered in fake blood while people try to adjust lighting.
Oh yeah, no, there's a lot of nights like that, and a couple of them where me and Jacob just shivering there. So that bridge scene especially, we're just shivering on the bridge, and they say, "Action!" Hey. It's like, I don't know how we could stop it when they said action, but even if you wanted to stop it before they said action, it's like you couldn't stop shivering. But somehow when I turned into Maurice, he wasn't cold, which is
wow,
kind of weird.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Vampires got that special abilities, I guess.
Yeah. If speaking of vampires, if this show could cross over with another vampire show, what other vampires would you want to see in this world? Or what world would you want your vampires to go to?
Oof, that's interesting. I think we're kind of, because our show is such a genre bender, it's hard to like, because traditionally vampire shows are either like Resident Evil, scary, or like a Twilight or a True Blood, or like a romantic kind of thing like that. But wow, that's a tricky one. I guess like, I don't know. I don't want to say, because I don't want to, all of them. I got to say the classics though. I would want it to be a classic one, but we even do that. We do like nod a little bit at some of the classic vampire lore and stuff like that. So
yeah, this show brilliantly nods at so many different vampire shows.
Yeah, and then we're only halfway through. So yeah.
I can't believe we're only halfway through, and there's so like the story has progressed so much, and it's such a clever show. And we still have, this big test coming.
The assessment.
The assessment.
Yeah.
What can you tease us about the assessment the rest of the season?
Study hard for the assessment. Watch your episodes. Wednesday night, 10 p.m. on SYFY.
All right.
I don't want to give away too much, but the actual assessment is wild. Obviously, it's wild. It's the crescendo. You don't want to miss it, and you want to be informed. You don't want to just probably take notes.
All right. You heard it here first. We're going to rewatch. We're going to take notes.
Yeah.
We're going to study up for the assessment.
Don't miss it.
Amazing. Mandela, thank you so much for chatting with me. Thank you for being here and talking about Reginald the Vampire. Thank you for being on Reginald the Vampire.
Thanks for having me. I had a great time.
I loved
Thanks for
having
the
you.
questions too. Great questions.
Thank you. For anybody who is watching and would like to find you on social media, what platform are you using at all?
Well, my name would just be Mandela Van Peebles, I guess, on Instagram. But yeah.
Okay, perfect.
And Reginald, you can watch me on Reginald.
Yeah, find him, Reginald, Wednesdays on SYFY.
Yeah.
And don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss anything, everybody. We'll see you next time.